Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood, and I'm here to review Halloween Resurrection from 2002. This movie stars Buster Rhymes, Bianca Kylick as Sarah Moyer. A little did you know, Katie Sackhoff plays Jed in this movie, the blonde-haired girl who gets killed off, gets her head cut off. Later on, after this movie, she goes on to play Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica series, which was a huge hit. She did a hell of a job in that role. She did a good job in this movie as well. I liked her in this movie. I liked her character. Um, I pretty much like every character in this movie. There's not one character I hate. Um, I feel Resurrection had really great characters. Um, I'm going to share a little personal story before I give my full fledged review. Um, I went where I live. Well, I live in Pennsylvania, and there's an old drive-in theater called Brownsville Theater. Um, and this Resurrection was playing, and we didn't go the day it came out. We went the next day, and my mom, she was legally blind at the time. Um, and she could not see, obviously, and I just remember that she was sorry, she would go on to die in 2004, so you can imagine her health was bad. I mean, it wasn't great. um and we went to go see this movie the next day, in 2002. We went to see this movie the next day after it came out, and my mom was sitting there. I was sitting with her. My girlfriend was with us, and I was holding my mom's hand. I was describing this movie to her shot by shot. Um, and I'll never forget that. That's a part of me. That's one of the reasons I enjoy this movie as well. I do enjoy the movie for the movie, but I enjoy it because it makes me think of my mom too, and it makes me think of how much she really. My mom is the reason I watch movies. My mom got me in the movies, and the first movie she ever showed me and my brother was actually John Carpenter's Halloween. And I'll never forget that to this day. That it was my mom who, got us into movies and let us watch whatever we wanted to, um, which was just so cool. A real sweet lady, and I do miss her. So I'm sorry. I'll get on with the review. I'm sorry, guys. Um, this movie actually starts off with a intro done by Jamie Lee Curtis. I actually love how they start this um, with an intro, and you really don't know where they're going with this when they first start this. You're walking through a long corridor or a long tunnel, as Jamie Lee Curtis's character is describing. At that tunnel is a door, and it lies to heaven or hell. And I love this intro. This is one of the best, if not the best, intros in a Halloween movie. I know a lot of Halloween movies have good intros. This intro is one of the best. This one here. I love one. I love two. I love four, five, and six is good. I love six is probably one of the best, but one's great all time. But to me, Resurrection definitely deserves a huge mention for how they started this movie and how dark it looked as well. And here we see Jamie Lee Curtis. She's back as Carrie Tate or Laurie Strode at this point. And she's sitting in a mental institution. No, it's not Smith's Grove, by the way. That is not Smith's Grove. Um, and by the way, the asylum sequence, for those who don't know, it actually takes place in 2001. It doesn't take place the same year as the events that happen in the house. So Resurrection starts off a full year before those events, which I always found really an interesting decision. They didn't do it the same year, they did it the year prior. And I'm like, holy, that's, to do something like that is really ballsy. It's gutsy. We're telling two different stories in one movie, and that is so cool. That's the one thing I love about Resurrection as well is you're gonna say here I love this movie a lot because I really do. Um, that they start off with one story. They're wrapping up one thing, Laurie Strode, in the beginning of this, and we're turning around and we're telling a story about new characters in a situation with Michael Myers. And I like how Laurie has the doll for part one. She's in a room. The nurses are talking about what happened. They do a nice little flashback sequence to H2O. I like that. That's something, again, I'm going to get to Hawkins because I'm doing Halloween 2018 right after this. Hawkins, again, I wish they did a flashback with him. They didn't. But they do a nice job in Halloween Resurrection, almost at H2O. Um, Halloween Resurrection, they do a very nice job doing that little flashback sequence, and I thought that was such a nice job by them. Um, uh, Jamie Lee Curtis's character Laurie Strode looks out the window. She sees Michael. He sees her. Bam! You have that moment, and I like the security guards in this aren't stupid or kooky. They're just security guards who are doing their job, and they get their asses killed in this. Let me tell you, what one guy gets his head cut off and stuffed in the shade. Michael Myers is the best horror serial killer ever, ever. He's the king. You know how Bruce Campbell, like Hail to the King, he's like, okay, Michael is the king, okay? So Hail to the King, okay? He's the king as well. There's like many kings in horror, and Michael Myers is one of them. Um, I'm not making that up, I don't think. You tell I'm having fun with this. Um, sorry. And what you have here is, you know, when the security guard comes in and checks on his boss, he gets his throat slit. And then he's going after from there right up to get Laurie. I love the chase sequence they have at the hospital. I know it's not great, but I liked it. Going up steps. Michael actually looked like he picked up a few steps. He got in shape for this. Um, I like how I love the mask in this. Actually, I don't hate any of the mask. I don't. Not even in H. Did the H2O CGI mask look bad? Yeah, it did, but I like the mask they used through the rest. They changed the mask, but the mask they used in the opening of H2O, I liked. I think I said that. If I didn't, I just did now. Um, back off the resurrection though. And what happened is they go up to the roof. Laurie Strode's got a trap for Michael. Hooks him. I love what they do here with Myers. It's not too human either. It just shows that Michael is a killer in these sequels. What no one picks up on, or I feel people don't want to acknowledge, is he's grown more methodical, not more human, more methodical. Yes, you could be pure evil, but you could be methodical too. It's a lot like the devil, okay? The devil is going to cannot. It's something me and my friend Dave Shore, shout out to him, I've talked about over the years of our lives. And he's way older. He's older than me. I'm not calling you old, Dave. Don't worry. You are old. He'll probably laugh at that if he watches this. Um, I've known him ever since I was a kid, so um, it's funny. And something we've talked about, I said, man, Dave, the devil is supposed to be the greatest con man that ever lived. So if you were Michael Myers, wouldn't you, in a sense, want to trick people or con them into thinking you might not be Michael Myers? And he said, yeah, actually, I would. If I could trick Laurie Strode, I would. And it's sort of the same thing here. You have Michael Myers tricking Laurie Strode into coming over. She thinks, hey, what if it's not him again? And I like how they did that, and I like them going over and the knife going to the back, and she says, I'll see you in hell, and she kisses him, and then he just lets her go, and she falls to her death. That was her decision, by the way. Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to be killed off, and so they did. A year later, 2002, we pick up with Sarah Moyer and the gang. Sarah Moyer is actually a college student who's studying psychology, a lot like Kara Strode in Halloween 6. And I love that. I love that they incorporate psychology. They incorporated psychology in Halloween 6. And throughout the franchise, they've been trying to incorporate psychology with other characters. That's something I feel. I like 2018's little bit psychology, but I wish we would have got more of it. In Resurrection, we got a lot of psychology, not just from Sarah Moyer, but from the other girl as well, the redheaded girl. I forget her name. I'm sorry. Her name is um escapes me for the time being. And so you meet them, and you find out that they've all won. That her and her friends have won the. Two of her friends, but other students who they don't know, have won the contest to enter the Myers house for, I think it's $1,000, I believe. I forget the amount. I think it's 1,000. Funny story too with this. Years late, my brother and me showed this movie to a college kid, and he said, "Listen, college kids will do anything for money. Have you ever heard of a student loan? No one wants to." I believe it. Listen, if you're needing money to pay on your student loan, you'll do anything, right? Yeah, sign me up for the Myers house right here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just. I'm not laughing at the movie. When that kid said that to me and my brother, like years later, my brother was like, so some college kids would go in a home of a killer for money? He goes, oh yeah, I'd do it, dude, if I was still in college. Oh, shit. So they're being offered, I'm so sorry, $1,000 to enter the house of the most notorious serial killer in Haddonfield, Michael Audrey Myers. Sarah, Jen, and Rudy are all friends. They know each other, but they don't know these other people going in the house. And even Sarah, I like Sarah, but to be honest, Sarah is doing this for the money. Don't mistake that. Yeah, she has some virtue to her. But every person there is in it for the money. Everyone's got a price, just like Ted DiBiase used to say. And these kids have their price. But what not only they're unaware of, but what Dangertainment like Buster Rhymes is unaware of, and oh my God, who's the other person? The other celebrity. I know Sean Patrick Thomas is in this as well from Save the Last Dance. He gets killed in this. He's the one who plays Rudy, the chef. The chef. Oh God. Oh, Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks is in this as well, and she gets killed too. There's actually a lot of celebrity death in this. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, you have Tyra Banks, and you have Sean Patrick Thomas. And if you have not seen Save the Last Dance, god damn it, go see it. Just for the hell of it. Watch any movie you can get your hands on. That's my philosophy. That's how I live. I'm not saying you have to live that way or anyone has to live that way. Um, so they're all going in this house, right? Sarah's having second thoughts. I actually love how Sarah Moria goes to Freddie Harris's hotel room. And you see in that sequence that Freddie Harris is watching a martial arts movie. Now, Busta Rhymes will mimic those very same moves in that movie later on, preferencing his character in the martial arts. Okay, remember what I said about flashbacks? I love flashbacks. Flashbacks are a good thing. And not a flashback, not so much a flashback. I wish Freddie Harris would have had like boxes in his apartment, and in one of those boxes would have been some trophies, and a lot of them would have been first place, except for one. And one of them would have said second place for martial arts. And he would have explained to Sarah, I never wanted to be second place to anyone or in anything ever again. Any athlete or person that does a sport, what do they hate? They hate to lose. Michael Jordan had that fucking mentality. Wayne Gretzky, Dale Earnhardt Sr., the list, Muhammad Ali. The list goes on and on and on. Most athletes or most people who don't play sports anymore hate to lose. It's what they remember most. You go ask an NFL coach what they remember most. I remember the losses because they hate it. They hate to lose, and I feel that that's the one thing that with Freddie Harris I liked. I didn't dislike. You did not know much about Freddie Harris. You knew as much about Freddie Harris as you did Michael Myers. Now let me lay this out for you. Michael Myers is a killer from was a little boy who killed his sister on Halloween night. He's from Haddonfield, Illinois. That's all you know about him. You don't even know where the hell Freddie Harris is from. You at least know where Michael's from. Freddie Harris is in the entertainment industry. He knows martial arts. That's all you really know about him. I mean, what the hell do you really know about Freddie Harris? Nothing. And I think they did that on purpose, which I like because you literally have a blank canvas of a potential hero, of a potential protagonist. Now, he's not the only protagonist in this movie. Sarah Moyer is a protagonist as well. And throughout this movie, when they finally get in that house, I love the lighting in the house. I love the mood. I love the setting. I love the webcam look. There's nothing I don't love. Now, what I love about Resurrection, when they got in that house, what Resurrection made you do, more so than what even H2O did, it made you think about the original movie. And how did they do that? Freddie Harris's crew sets up fake shit in the house, like that high chair. They put knives in the house. They put what was that thing Rudy was testing of? Oh god, I forget what he says, but he tastes it and it tastes fresh. I forget what he says, but they make you think the house is. They didn't take stuff out the house. And it literally has to make you think back to Halloween 1. And I did in the course of watching this in 2002 when I watched this with my mom. And even when I rewatched this with my brother and that college student, you literally had to think, okay, wait, all the stuff was out of that house in Halloween 1. Because remember, they're going off of H2O. This is a sequel to H2O. An H2O time jump. So you literally have to go back and think of Halloween 1. And I love that from Resurrection. That is a huge thing to do to an audience. We're making you use your head. I love it. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not. That's just my point of view, my opinion. I can't say that. I love this movie. Sorry. The kill sequences look good, and they make they sort of, what Freddie Harris does so well is, yeah, there are people getting killed, but it, Freddie Harris really is a very distracting character in a good way, because yeah, they're getting killed off, but he's even dismissing all this. They just dropped their camera, idiot. I love that line. I love that line for Busta Rhymes because yeah, I would think that too if I didn't see it. Um, I love the kill scene in the sewer. I love how Freddie Harris, Nora's around back. Go. Michael Myers went and butchered Nora's ass after that. I guarantee you. And I love the kill sequence of the knife fight with Rudy, where Rudy takes the knives, was awesome as hell. Um, Obviously, Jen gets her head cut off, the head coming down the steps. That was fun. That like a bowling ball. Boo, 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 boo. It made me think of a slinky. Okay, how you would take a slinky at the top of the steps and go down, 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 down. That's what it made me think of. I'm sorry. I have fun doing these. You should be yourself, right? Um, Sorry. I like how they have Michael actually standing behind Sarah Moyer, Bianca. And I love how when Busta Rhymes' character, who's dressed as Michael Myers, grabs Sarah, the one guy in the leather jacket, the rocker, he hits him with the fake arm. And Busta Rhymes gives one of the best lines, but it's a line and it's funny, but it's so scary. True, it's scary. They cut the cameras off, and he says, "Damn, you hit me like I murdered your mother or something." Now think about this: how many potential mothers has Michael Myers murdered? Oh my god! That line for Busta Rhymes, it's good, it's funny, but it's so damn, it's like scary true. You know what I mean? Like he says it, and I hope this video doesn't cut off, so I gotta get going. Uh, I'm at the 22-minute mark. It's just so good. It's a great line. Obviously, the knife fight I mentioned. Um, Busta Rhymes disappears into the night. Now, you don't see him for a while until the stuff has gotten real. Michael Myers is in the house. He's there. He's killed almost everybody, but Sarah and Busta Rhymes' character, Freddie Harris. To me, this is where you found out who Freddie Harris was. Freddie Harris, when he discovered Nora's body, now I wish they just showed that. They didn't, but you guess that he does see that body. And he sees other bodies as well. He could have ran. He did not have to come back for Sarah Moyer, yet he does. And he tells her, "On my soul, I didn't know. I'm sorry." I believed him. I believed him, and I do. I mean, that's one hell of a line to say right then and there after all that shit. You know what I mean? And it's not over at that point either. I mean, they're not out of danger. Um, and I love the fight sequence. I know people who don't like the martial arts sequence between Buster and Michael. If you go watch that, Buster Rhymes actually does not throw that many kicks. He doesn't. And Michael blocks one of the kicks. And if it weren't for Sarah Moyer wrapping the camera cord around Michael's neck, Freddie Harris's ass would have been dead. So Sarah Moyer saves Freddie Harris as much as Freddie Harris saves her. Just saying, guys. Again, we get a nice little chase sequence. Buster gets stabbed in the shoulder. This ends up in the garage where we see Nora's body. That's one hell of a bloody mess. Michael comes in. I love the battle with the chain. I love the chainsaw sequence. I love that. Michael gets caught up in the cords. There's a fire. Sarah's sort of on the ground, in and out of consciousness. Buster comes in, saves her. Freddie Harris comes in and saves her. And I love the sequence where they have the body bags and may he never rest in peace. And you think he's dead, right? They take him to the morgue, the eyes open, and Michael Myers is alive at the end of Halloween Resurrection. This movie gets an 8.5 for me. I love Halloween Resurrection. People were gonna say 8.5. What's wrong with it? Why not die? What? Because I wish they. I know they did this on. I think they did this on purpose with Freddie Harris. That they left him a blank slate. I wish they would have put a little more of a past in with the character. That's why. I don't. I love Buster Rhymes' performance of Freddie Harris. He did a good job. People give him too hard of a time, in my opinion. Um, I thought he did a good job. To me, this was better than H2O. This was way better. It was way more entertaining. It was way more fun. Should Josh Hartnett have been in this movie? Maybe. He could have been. Could have made a cameo. Could have did something. But he was supposed to be in Halloween 9 that we never got, though. Um, Let me know what you guys think about Halloween Resurrection. Have a great one, man. I'm going to do Halloween 2018 next. I'll see you guys.